You go out to dinner with your friends, if you are not a mathematician and you have any, and you have to decide how it is paid. Dilemma: does everyone put their own or do you divide the account equally? Calm down, while normal people go out to dinner out there, mathematicians stay working at home trying to find solutions to this. Today in Deriving we are going to talk about game theory. This video is sponsored by the Polytechnic University of Valencia. Beware because the name game theory is misleading. It's not really about studying board games. That's more the theory of combinatorial games, such as chess, checkers, or Go. It is also not about mathematical games, Sudoku types and others like that. That would be a thing of recreational mathematics, which is wonderful. Actually, game theory is a branch of mathematics that generates models to study decision-making and the interactions between those who make those decisions. Here the games are formalized incentive structures, that is, the benefits you can get with your decisions and how that affects the benefits of the rest of the players, and their decisions. As you can imagine, this has all kinds of applications in politics, strategy and many areas, in particular in economics, where they have had an immense development. In the end, game theory is about the balance between different agents trying to make a profit. Life itself. One of the greatest exponents in game theory is John Nash, the only person in the world to have won the Nobel Prize and the Abel Prize, and who created what is known as the Nash equilibrium. Before we move on to the dinner thing, let me tell you about the most famous problem in game theory. Surely many of you already know him, the prisoner's dilemma. We have two prisoners who have committed a crime punishable by 20 years in prison, but there is not enough evidence for a full conviction. The police have captured them, and separately they tell them that, if they both confess to the crime, they will have a 5-year sentence for collaborating with justice. If the two of them shut up, they would only have 1 year of sentence because there is no more evidence against him. But if one confesses and the other is silent, the one who confesses goes completely free, and the other gets 20 years in prison. What would you do? Of course, you don't know what the other is going to do. Viewed individually, it is best to confess, whatever the other does. Think about it, if the other is silent, it is better to confess. In that case you would go free. And if the other confesses, it is also better to confess. You would go to jail for 5 years instead of the 20 you would go if you don't confess. And yet, if the two confess, the punishment is worse than if the two keep quiet. See? The common good in conflict with the individual good. One player's decisions affect the others. That's game theory and that's also life. Let's move on. What's the situation? A group is going to dinner and each person has to choose between a more expensive or less expensive dish. The expensive one is better, but the price difference is not worth it if you have to pay for it yourself, and yet, when paying together what the expensive dish adds to the total bill, it is also not so much when it is divided, so it is worth ordering the best dish. Now, if everyone or at least a few reason like that, in the end we will all end up paying a lot more than if everyone paid their own. It's an n-player version of the prisoner's dilemma. Okay, that's the theory, but what's really going on? In an article by 2004 Nezi, Harovi and Yafe made an experiment in which, under the same conditions, with the same number of diners and with the same prices, several groups had to have dinner, each paying their own. Other groups had to split the bill, and other groups were invited by the organization. Well, the result was this. The average price of what everyone asked for when they paid their own was $37 and $3. When the bill was divided, the average price was $50.9, 13 odd more, and when they were invited the average price was $82 and $3. This type of model and experiment is applied to numerous situations in economics, as they studied in that 2004 article, and sometimes the results are surprising. So well, the day you want we are going to have dinner and ask for what you want, I invite you. Well, let's see, let's not come up either.